Hey guys, and welcome back. I'm Mimi, and today I am going to be taking you to the grocery store. Yes. So Ethiopian New Year's, Eritrean New Year's is upon us. We're about 3 days out. It lands on September 11th. And really, it is a really fun, festive holiday. So today, when we're at the grocery store, I'm going to pick up gomen, which is collard greens, and milk, because I'm going to make it's a hybrid ricotta. It's called Ibe, but we're gonna use milk, whole milk, and vinegar. So I'm gonna take you with me and just show you what I do a couple days out. Me and the boys and Daddy, we are just going to make it very simple. Our menu is really going to be ክትፎ tips shuro, because my kids love shuro. So come along with me. All right, so I'm here at my local Safeway and I'm about to go in, and first I have to mask up. So here we go. Into Safeway we go. So I like coming to this Safeway in the early mornings, 7, 8, because I know they'll have like their produce all out. And so we're gonna go look at the collard greens. Let's go. And I'll give you a view of their produce department. The gomen, the special gomen that goes with ክትፎ. I know 2 is not enough, because once we wash it, chop it and everything, it comes down to nothing. So I'm probably going to grab around 6 of these heads of collard greens. So I'm grabbing 6 of these. So they only had 5, so literally I grabbed the last 2 and wiped them out. I'm sure they have more, so I'll probably ask a clerk to see if they have any more. So I'm going with 5 for now. And now, what I like to do, since I'm in the produce department, I want to take a look at the floral department to see if they have any lilies that I might want to use for my tablescape. Again, this holiday season, New Year's, it's quarantine New Year's, so it's going to be super low key. And it's really just going to be my family and I. So I'm going to deck out the table. Here we go. So I checked out the flowers. So what I'm going to do is the morning of, because we're 3 days out, right? So the morning of, I'll just come in here, pick up my flowers, go get the milk. So typically when you make Ibe, there's 2 ways of making it. You can just boil the buttermilk, or you can buy whole milk and use vinegar. That's a tip. It's a lot cheaper when you buy whole milk, and you put the vinegar in the milk, and you let it boil. Boom, you got Ibe. So that's what we're gonna do. So we're heading to the milk section. All right, so I got all the items that I need. I'm really was just here for the collard greens and the whole milk. I have vinegar at home. So I'm gonna go home and we're gonna prepare the gomen. And I'm going to freeze the gomen and pull it out on the holiday, and then I'm gonna season it with kibe and korima and mikmika and all that good stuff. But yeah, so let's go. So now that I'm home, I'm going to go ahead and start washing my collard greens. And one of the things that I like to do is give my sink a quick rinse and fill my sink with cold water And as my sink is filling up with cold water, I start to unbundle my collard greens and start dropping them into the sink. And as I'm dropping them into the sink, I'm inspecting them. I'm inspecting to make sure that there's no soil, there's no insect. It's extremely important when it comes to any type of leafy green, really, is washing it thoroughly. Even though it says already been washed 3 times, I would still wash your greens. So this time I washed it 3 times, and I'm just letting the water fill, and then I'm just gonna let the water drain. And what I always notice when I let the water drain is there's all this soil and rocks and stuff, and I just don't want that in my food. So I'm washing it 3 times. Now that my collard greens are prepared, I am now going to remove the leafy green from the vein. That's right. In this recipe, you do not want the vein or the stem. You just want the leaves. So I am simply going to remove them. And here's a trick. All you do is hold the stem and pull, and then throw the stem away and keep the greens. And I'm just going to go ahead and start doing that with all of my pre-washed collard greens. So now I'm going to add about 12 cups of water to my 6-quart stock pan, and I am going to add in my leafy collard greens. And really, I am in no rush to cook these collard greens. I am going to just let it be on medium-low. The goal here is for these collard greens to really cook well and be very wilted. So again, I'm not rushing this. I'm just going to cook this slow and easy. So I'm putting it on medium low and let the wilting begin. So the gomen is starting to wilt, it's starting to look good. So now what I think I'm going to go ahead and do is start on my ibe, which is a hybrid ricotta cheese, really easy to make. Here we go. So for the ibe, we are going to use a 1/2 cup of distilled vinegar. So I am pouring in 1/2 cup of vinegar into my measuring cup, and I'm going to go grab the whole milk that I picked up from the store. I bought 1/2 gallon, and I'm just simply going to pour the 1/2 gallon into my 6-quart stock pot and then add my vinegar. So you'll notice once I add the vinegar into the milk that my milk is starting to curl, and that is totally okay. My heat is on medium to low. And here is a tip: if you ever are cooking something that calls for buttermilk, all you need is milk and a couple of drops of vinegar and let it sit for 5 minutes and you have buttermilk. So we're gonna go ahead and let that simmer, and I'm checking in on my collard greens and they're looking good, and life is good. So now that my ibe is done, I am going to grab a glass bowl, and if you have a mesh strainer, great. I don't, so I'm going to be using my pasta strainer and using my cheesecloth. And so I'll just, put my pasta strainer in my glass bowl and put my cheesecloth in it. And I will slowly then start to add my ibe, look at that ibe, into my bowl, separating the water from the cheese. Simply going to add the water back in the pot. I know some people love it. Like my mother loves drinking ibe water. She says it's healthy for you, but if it's your cup of tea, then there you go. Have it your way. But I'm simply going to go ahead and let this cool. So I'm going to throw it in the refrigerator. Look at that ibe. And I like to just wrap it right back up with the cheesecloth. I know some people leave it out, but I really just want to chill it. So I am going to go ahead and take this to my fridge. Here we go. And I'm going to probably let this rest for about 2 hours in my refrigerator and then take it back out and put it in a container. So now onto the collard greens. They look ready and they're wilted. So now what I am going to do is just strain the water. So now that the collard greens are ready, there's really two ways of doing this. You can literally sit there and chop up all of these collard greens by hand, or let the kitchen electric do the work. So I pulled out my Cuisinart and I am going to let it work. So I'm going to go ahead and add my gomen in there and I'm going to let it chop it up to the consistency that I am looking for, and I am going to let it work. I'm happy with the consistency, so I'm going to go ahead and finish off grinding the rest of these collards, and then I'm going to put it in this bowl right here. And like I said, I'm going to freeze this and pull it out the day of New Year's and season it up. Again, a lot of these recipes can be made ahead of time and pull out on the day of, just making life a little bit more easy. So I'm going to go ahead and finish grinding up all of these collards. All right, so I'm done, and I'm just going to go ahead and pull out this reusable plastic bag here, sustainable reusable plastic bag, I should add. And I'm just going to go ahead and put my collards in there and make sure I get all the air out and, do a fold, and put them in my freezer just like that. Easy peasy. So I'm pulling out my ibe and I am about to look at it, and it looks really good here. Just pulling away the cheesecloth and it looks perfect. So I'll grab a deli container, and one of the things that I didn't do is I did not salt it while it was simmering. I like salting my food towards the end. I don't like salting it in the beginning. With this ibe, I'm going to probably season it with mitmita and salt and maybe a little bit of kibe. I don't know yet. I just might do something like that, but definitely going to salt this when I'm about to serve it. So there's my deli container, and I'm simply going to go ahead and scoop the cheese into the container and put it right back into the refrigerator until the day of the celebration.